My mother-in-law said I was too sensitive about her comments, so I recorded every single one for a month. It started at Easter dinner. Veronica, my husband's mom, smiled sweetly across the table and said, "Well, at least you're trying with the cooking." My husband Devin laughed. Everyone laughed. I felt my face burn but said nothing. Later, when I mentioned it hurt my feelings, Devin shrugged. "That's just how mom is. You're being too sensitive." So I started recording. Not obviously, just my phone face down on the counter, voice memos running during family visits. Week 1, I caught 14 comments. "Your house always smells like something died." "Devin deserves someone who takes care of themselves." "I'm surprised you can afford that, given your job." Each one delivered with a smile, often followed by, "I'm just joking, honey." By week 2, I had 47 recordings. The pattern was clear. She'd insult me, then gaslight me when I reacted. "You're so dramatic. Learn to take a joke. Why are you always starting problems?" Devin would side with her every time, making me feel crazy. But now I had proof. Cold, digital proof. Week 3, something shifted. Veronica started making comments about my fertility. Clock's ticking. "If you can't give Devin children, he has options." I was 29. We'd been married 8 months. When I told Devin I felt attacked, he said I was imagining things. His mom loved me. I was creating drama where none existed. I kept recording. By day 28, I had 89 separate incidents documented. I transcribed every word, timestamped everything, organized it into categories. Appearance, 32, homemaking, 24, career, 18, fertility, 15. I made a spreadsheet. I created a highlight reel. Then I waited. Anniversary dinner at Veronica's house. She'd invited Devin's whole family, 23 people total. During dessert, she stood up to make a toast. "To my baby boy Devin, who deserves the world. And to his wife, who's still learning how to be part of this family." Everyone chuckled. Devin squeezed my hand apologetically. That's when I connected my phone to her smart TV. The first recording played. Veronica's voice filled the room. "She's let herself go completely. I don't know what Devin sees in her anymore." Devin's face went white. His sister Bryn stopped mid-bite. I played the next one, and the next. 4 minutes of greatest hits. Her voice sweet as honey while destroying me in every possible way. The room was silent. Veronica's face had gone from red to purple. "This is a violation," she hissed. "Recording people without consent is legal in this state," I interrupted. "When you have reasonable expectation that abuse is occurring." I checked. Devin was staring at the frozen screen where his mother's last comment was still displayed. If Devin had married Christine instead, he'd be happy and probably have kids by now. His brother Felix spoke first. "Jesus, Mom. What the hell?" But Veronica wasn't done. She turned to Devin, tears forming. "You're going to let her humiliate me like this? Your own mother? After everything I've done for you?" I watched Devin's face, waiting for him to choose. For 30 seconds, nobody moved. Then he stood up, grabbed his coat, and said, "We're leaving. Victory, right?" Wrong. In the car, Devin was silent. At home, he finally spoke. "You recorded my mother for a month without telling me. She was destroying me. You made me look like an idiot in front of my entire family. You ambushed us at dinner. That's manipulative." I stared at him. "Did you hear what she said about me?" "Of course I did. But there were better ways to handle this. You went nuclear because you can't take criticism." That night, Devin slept in the guest room. The next morning, he was gone before I woke up. His text said he was staying at his brother's place to think. I called him 17 times. No answer. Then my phone buzzed. A text from Veronica. "We need to talk. Alone. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. My house. Don't tell Devin." I stared at the message for 10 minutes. Every instinct screamed trap, but I also needed to know what she wanted. I texted back a single word. "Why?" 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. "Because you won the battle, but you're about to lose the war. I can fix this or I can destroy you. Your choice." I screenshot the text, added it to my evidence folder. Then I replied, "Fine, 2 p.m. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying Devin's words. Manipulative, nuclear, like I was the problem, like documenting abuse made me the abuser. At 3 a.m., I pulled up the recordings again, listening through headphones. Her voice, sugary and cruel. "Devin deserves someone who takes care of themselves. Your house always smells like something died." Clock's ticking. How had I survived 8 months of this? The next day crawled by. I called in sick to work, my first time ever. I needed to prepare. I charged my phone fully. I tested the voice recorder app 3 times. I wore jeans and a sweater. Nothing she could criticize. At 1:45 p.m., I drove to her house, the same mansion where I'd humiliated her 48 hours earlier. Her car was the only one in the driveway. Good. I knocked twice. She answered immediately like she'd been waiting by the door. Her makeup was perfect. Her hair freshly done. She wore a cream cashmere sweater and pearls. Power dressing. "Come in," she said. No smile this time. I followed her to the living room. She gestured to the couch but remained standing. Classic dominance move. I sat anyway, phone in my pocket, already recording. "Coffee?" she asked. "No. Suit yourself." She poured herself a cup from the silver service, taking her time, making me wait. When she finally sat, it was in the armchair across from me, elevated slightly. She crossed her legs, sipped her coffee, then set it down with a deliberate clink. "Let's be frank," she said. "You embarrassed me in front of my entire family. You made me look like a monster. You made yourself look like a monster." I just pressed play. Her jaw tightened. "You had no right to record me in my own home." "Actually, I did. I checked with 3 different lawyers before I did anything. In this state, you only need 1 party consent. I was that party. Lawyers." She laughed, but it was sharp. "How much did that cost?" "Oh, wait. You can't afford lawyers, can you? Not on your little salary. Is there a point to this meeting?" She leaned forward. "The point is this. Devin is my son, my only son, and you've put him in an impossible position. Right now, he's confused, he's hurt, he doesn't know who to believe. He heard the recordings, he heard snippets, out of context, edited to make me look bad." She held up a hand when I started to protest. "I'm not saying I was always kind. Maybe I was too honest sometimes. Maybe I pushed too hard because I wanted what's best for my son. But Devin knows I love him, and blood is thicker than water. That's not what that saying means. I said. The full quote is, "The blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. It means the bonds we choose are stronger than family." Her eyes went cold. How intellectual. Did you Google that before coming here? What do you want, Veronica? She picked up a folder from the side table. Manila, crisp, official looking. She opened it, studied the contents like she was seeing them for the first time, though I knew she'd rehearsed this. I want you to understand your options. Devin is at his brother's house right now, yes, but I've been talking to him, and his sister, and his father. We've all been talking. About what? About the kind of person who would record private family conversations for a month, who would plan an ambush at a family dinner, who would weaponize technology to destroy someone. She looked up from the folder. That's not normal behavior. That's calculated, vengeful. Some might even say unhinged. My heart started pounding. You're twisting this. Am I? Because from where I'm sitting, you're the one who seems unstable. The entire family agrees. Even Devin is starting to see it. She slid a paper across the coffee table. This is a list of every family member who was at that dinner. 12 of them have agreed to sign statements that you manipulated the situation, that you've always been dramatic, that you've been trying to drive a wedge between Devin and his family since day one. I looked at the list. Names typed neatly. Felix, Bryn, Devin's dad Walter, his aunt Colleen, his cousins, everyone. This is insane. This is strategy. She pulled out another paper. And this is a psychiatric evaluation recommendation. We're all very concerned about you. Your paranoia. Your need to record people. Your inability to handle normal family dynamics. Devin has been encouraged to suggest marriage counseling. And if that doesn't work, we've been advised that he might need to consider whether this marriage is healthy for him. The room tilted. You're threatening me. I'm protecting my son. If you continue down this path, you'll lose him. But I'm offering you an alternative. She leaned back, satisfied. You apologize. Publicly. You admit you overreacted, that you took things out of context, that you were struggling with mental health issues and lashed out. You delete all the recordings. You go to therapy. And most importantly, you accept that I was trying to help you, in my own way, to be a better wife to my son. And if I don't, then we paint you as the villain, the unstable woman who tried to destroy a family. And Devin will divorce you within 6 months. You'll get nothing. No house, no money, nothing. We have lawyers who can drag this out for years. Can you afford that? I sat there processing. This was exactly what I'd expected and somehow worse. She'd spent 2 days building a counter-narrative, recruiting allies, creating a paper trail that made me look crazy. And the terrifying thing was, it might work. People believed Veronica. She was charming, established, connected. I was just the daughter-in-law who'd been around less than a year. I need time to think, I said. You have until Monday. That's 3 days. She stood up, signaling the meeting was over. Choose wisely. Because I promise you, if you choose wrong, you'll regret it for the rest of your life. I left without another word. In my car, I sat shaking for 5 minutes before I could drive. The recording was still running on my phone. I'd captured every word. But would it matter? She hadn't actually said anything overtly illegal. Just threats disguised as concern. Strategic manipulation wrapped in maternal worry. I drove home. Our home. The house Devin and I had bought together last year. The one I'd decorated with such hope. Now it felt empty. Haunted by a marriage that might already be over. I pulled out my laptop and opened the evidence folder. 89 recordings, transcripts, the spreadsheet, the video I'd shown at dinner. I'd thought this was everything I needed. But Veronica had shown me something I hadn't considered. Evidence didn't matter if you controlled the narrative, and she controlled Devin's entire family. My phone rang. Felix, Devin's brother. Hey, he said when I answered. I just want you to know that list Mom showed you? I didn't sign anything. She typed my name without asking. You were there, I said. At the dinner. You heard what she said. I know. It was brutal. I've been telling Devin he needs to open his eyes. He paused. But Mom got to everyone else. Told them you edited the recordings. That you'd been planning this for months. That you're trying to take Devin away from the family. And people believed her because, let's be honest, what you did was pretty extreme. She gave me no choice. I believe you. But here's the thing. Devin's confused right now. He's hurt and angry and Mom is in his ear constantly. If you want to save your marriage, you need to talk to him directly. Don't let her control the conversation. He won't answer my calls. Then show up. He's at my place. Come tonight around 7. I'll make sure Mom isn't here. I hung up. Looked at the clock. 4 hours. I spent them preparing. I printed out every transcript. Every recording backed up to 3 different cloud services. I wrote out a timeline of events, documented with dates and times. I wasn't going in defenseless this time. At 6:45 p.m., I drove to Felix's house. It was smaller than the family mansion, a normal suburban home. Devin's car was in the driveway. My stomach churned. Felix answered the door, nodded, and disappeared upstairs, giving us privacy. Devin was in the living room staring at his phone. He looked up when I entered and I saw it. The exhaustion, the conflict, the love mixed with betrayal. We'd been so happy 8 months ago, standing at an altar making promises. How had we gotten here? Hi, I said. Hey. I sat down, keeping distance between us. We need to talk, really talk. Not through texts or with Felix as a middleman. I don't know what to say, Devin said. I keep replaying everything and I can't make sense of it. Your mom asked to meet with me today. Alone. His head snapped up. What? When? This afternoon at 2 p.m. At her house. I pulled out my phone, played him the recording, watched his face change as he heard her threats. The psychiatric evaluation, the divorce within 6 months, the promise to destroy me. When it finished, he looked sick. She said that? Every word. And Devin, I need you to understand something. I didn't record her to hurt you. I recorded her because I was drowning. Because every single day she would tear me apart, and you would tell me I was overreacting. I needed proof. Not for revenge. For survival. He was quiet for a long time. My whole life, my mom has been intense. She has opinions and she shares them. But I never thought. He stopped. Started again. When I heard those recordings at dinner, it was like hearing a stranger. That wasn't the mom I knew. That's because she shows you a different version. She's loving and supportive to you. But to me, she's been cruel from day one. And when I tried to tell you, you chose her. I didn't choose her. I just thought you were misunderstanding her tone. Devin. She called me ugly. Said I let myself go. questioned whether you'd want kids with me, told me I wasn't good enough for you at least twice a week for 8 months. That's not a misunderstanding. That's abuse. His eyes filled with tears. Why didn't you tell me it was that bad? I did tell you, every time, and every time you defended her. So I stopped telling you and started documenting instead. The way you did it, though, playing it at dinner in front of everyone, that was humiliating. What was I supposed to do? Come to you with recordings and risk you deleting them? Ask her politely to stop after 8 months of her ignoring my boundaries? I tried the normal ways. They didn't work. So I went nuclear, yes, because I was out of options. He wiped his eyes. She's my mom. And I'm your wife, the person you chose to build a life with, the person you made vows to. I pulled out the folder I'd brought. She showed me a list today of family members who'll testify I'm unstable, that I manipulated the situation. She's building a case against me to force you into divorce. I handed him the papers. He read through them slowly. The list, the psychiatric evaluation recommendation, the strategy she'd laid out. His hands started shaking. She's trying to end our marriage, he whispered. She told me I have until Monday to apologize and delete all evidence, or she'll make sure I lose everything. Devin set the papers down, put his head in his hands. This is my fault. I should have protected you. I should have seen what she was doing. You were programmed from birth to trust her. She's your mom. I get it. No. He looked up at me. You don't get it. Because I've been sitting here for 2 days thinking about every interaction, every dinner, every family event. And now I'm remembering things differently. The way she'd criticize my ex-girlfriends. How Christine broke up with me after 6 months because she couldn't handle my family. How my high school girlfriend Claire told me my mom was controlling and I defended her just like I defended her with you. Devin, she's always been like this. I just never wanted to see it. Because if I saw it, I'd have to admit my mom isn't who I thought she was. That the woman who raised me is capable of cruelty. And that's a hard thing to accept. We sat in silence. Felix's clock ticked loudly from the mantel. Finally, Devin spoke again. What do you need from me? I need you to choose. Not between your family and me. Between enabling abuse and stopping it. Because if we stay together and you keep defending her, I'll be right back where I started. Being destroyed one comment at a time. I choose you, he said. I choose us. But I don't know how to do this. How to set boundaries with my own mother. We figure it out together. Maybe we need therapy. Maybe we need to go no contact for a while. I don't have all the answers. But I need to know you're on my side. Devin nodded, stood up, walked over and pulled me into his arms. I felt his chest heave as he cried. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I held him. Let myself cry too. What do we do about Monday? She wants an answer. We call her bluff. If she wants to paint you as unstable, fine. We have recordings of her threatening you. We have documentation of 8 months of abuse. We have her own words proving she's been running a campaign against you. Let her try to spin that. Your family will side with her. Then I lose my family. But I don't lose you. It should have felt like victory, but it just felt sad. Devin loved his mother even if he was choosing me. That love wouldn't disappear overnight, and Veronica wasn't going to accept defeat quietly. We spent that night at Felix's house. Devin called his mom the next morning, Saturday, put her on speaker so I could hear. Hi, honey, she said, her voice warm. How are you feeling? I know what you did, Devin said. The meeting yesterday, the threats, the list of family members. I heard the recording. Silence. Then, she recorded me again. Devin, this proves exactly what I've been saying. She's obsessed with, stop, just stop, Mom. His voice cracked. I heard what you said about destroying her, about divorce, about making her look unstable. That's not protecting me. That's manipulation. Devin, you don't understand. I understand perfectly. And here's what's going to happen. You're going to back off. No more comments about my wife. No more family meetings about her mental health. No more threats. If you can't treat her with basic respect, then you won't have access to either of us. You're choosing her over your own mother. I'm choosing my marriage. The way you should have supported me in doing from the start. Devin, please. He hung up, stared at the phone. I just hung up on my mother. Are you okay? No, but I will be. The rest of Saturday was quiet. We stayed at Felix's, ordering takeout, watching mindless TV. Not talking about Veronica or marriage or the impossible situation we'd found ourselves in. Just being together, remembering why we'd fallen in love in the first place. Devin made me laugh with a terrible impression of a cooking show host. I beat him at Mario Kart for the first time ever. Small, normal moments in the middle of chaos. Sunday morning, my phone exploded. Texts from numbers I didn't recognize. Family members I barely knew. All saying variations of the same thing. How dare you turn Devin against his mother? You're destroying this family. We know what you really are. Devin's phone was worse. His Aunt Colleen called him a traitor. His cousin demanded he come to his senses. His dad Walter sent a long text about respecting the woman who raised him. The family had mobilized, exactly as Veronica promised. They don't know the full story, Devin said, reading through messages. Mom's been feeding them lies. Then tell them the truth. They won't believe me. Not if it means admitting Mom is wrong. He was right. When families function like cults, questioning the leader becomes heresy. We could show them all 89 recordings and they'd find ways to excuse it. She was just being honest. She was trying to help. You're too sensitive. The same gaslighting on a larger scale. By Sunday evening, we'd made a decision. We weren't going to respond to anyone. No explanations, no justifications, no defending ourselves. We'd been in court of public opinion and lost before the trial even started, so we'd step out of the courtroom entirely. Monday morning, Devin and I drove home together. Our home, not his brother's guest room. We walked through the door holding hands and it felt like reclaiming territory. We spent the day cleaning, reorganizing, literally washing Veronica's influence out of our space. I threw out the decorative pillows she'd given us, the ones that never matched our style. Devin removed the family photos from the mantel, keeping only pictures of the two of us. At 2 p.m., right on schedule, Veronica called. Devin answered, put her on speaker. Well, she said, have you made your decision? I'm not apologizing, I said. I'm not deleting the recordings, and I'm not going to therapy to fix problems you created. Then you've chosen the hard way. I'm sorry it came to this, but you've left me no choice. Actually, Devin said, we've made a choice. We're going no contact with you for 6 months. Minimum. No calls, no texts, no family events. If you try to reach out, we'll block you. If you send family members to harass us, we'll block them too. And if you try to interfere with our marriage in any way, we'll file a restraining order. Another silence. Longer this time. When Veronica spoke again, her voice had lost all its sweetness. You'll regret this, Devin. Both of you. Maybe, he said. But we'll regret it together. He hung up. We looked at each other. That's it, I said. We really did it. Yeah. The fallout was immediate. By Tuesday, we'd been removed from every family group chat. By Wednesday, Devin's dad called to tell him he was disappointed. By Friday, his sister Bryn sent a long email about how I'd brainwashed her brother. We read them all, saved them for documentation, and didn't respond. The first month was hard. Devin would get sad sometimes, missing his family. He'd see something funny and instinctively want to text his mom, then remember he couldn't. I'd find him looking at old family photos, grief written all over his face. Cutting off toxic family doesn't mean you don't love them. It just means you love yourself more. But slowly, we healed. We started going to couples therapy, learning to communicate better. Devin worked with an individual therapist on untangling years of enmeshment with his mother. I processed the trauma of 8 months of daily degradation. We had date nights where we didn't talk about Veronica at all. We made new friends, couples who actually liked both of us. We built a life that was ours, not the one his family had prescribed. 3 months in, Felix reached out. He'd had his own confrontation with their mother, defending our decision to go no contact. She'd accused him of choosing sides. He'd said he was choosing reality over delusion. Now he was on restricted access too, only seeing the family at major holidays, enduring lectures about enabling me. She's telling everyone you had a psychotic break, he told us over coffee. That Devin is staying out of obligation and fear, that you've threatened to release more recordings if he leaves. None of that is true, I said. I know. But the family wants to believe it because the alternative is admitting mom is abusive. That's too uncomfortable. Devin nodded. It's easier to blame the outsider than question the matriarch. For what it's worth, Felix said, Bryn is starting to have doubts. She won't admit it, but I heard her questioning some of mom's stories. The timelines don't match up. The details keep changing. She's not ready to break ranks yet, but she's thinking about it. 4 months in, I got a Facebook message from Christine. Yes, that Christine, the one Veronica mentioned in her recordings. The one Devin supposedly would have been happier with. I heard what happened, she wrote, and I just want to say I'm proud of you for standing up to her. She made my life hell when I dated Devin, told me I wasn't pretty enough, wasn't accomplished enough, wasn't good enough for her son. Devin defended her every time. It's why I left. I couldn't compete with his mother. I hope it's different now. I hope he finally sees what she is. I showed Devin the message. He read it 3 times. I never knew it was that bad for her. You didn't want to know, just like you didn't want to know with me. But I know now. 5 months in, we got a wedding invitation. Bryn was getting married. The ceremony was at Veronica's house. We weren't invited. Not directly anyway. Felix forwarded us a copy of the invitation, told us the family had specifically discussed not inviting us. Veronica had said our presence would make people uncomfortable, that Bryn's special day shouldn't be overshadowed by drama. Do you want to go? I asked Devin. It's my sister's wedding. That wasn't what I asked. He stared at the invitation for a long time. No, I don't want to go. Because if I go, Mom will act like everything is fine. Like she didn't spend months trying to destroy my marriage. Like we're one big happy family again. And I can't pretend that. 6 months in, we had our review with the therapist. So, she said, how do you feel about the no contact period ending? I don't want it to end, Devin said immediately. I've been happier in these 6 months than I've been in years. I sleep better. I don't have constant anxiety about the next family event. I don't have to watch my wife be torn apart while pretending everything is normal. What about you? The therapist asked me. I want him to have a relationship with his family if that's what he needs, but not at the cost of my safety. So if contact resumes, there have to be non-negotiable boundaries and consequences when those boundaries are crossed. We drafted them together. The boundaries. Veronica must acknowledge the harm she caused and apologize sincerely. All communication goes through Devin first. She doesn't get my phone number back. No comments about my appearance, career, homemaking, or fertility. Ever. Family events are optional. We attend based on our comfort, not obligation. If she violates any boundary, we leave immediately and reset the no-contact clock. She doesn't get to be alone with our future children until trust is rebuilt. If we have children, we can record any interaction if we feel unsafe. No complaints about privacy. Devin sent the boundaries via email. Veronica responded within an hour. These are outrageous demands. I'm your mother, not some criminal on probation. I won't be dictated to by that woman. If you want a relationship with your family, you'll come back with respect and humility. Otherwise, stay away. So we stayed away. 6 months became 8. 8 became 10. Devin stopped checking family social media. I stopped waiting for the apology that would never come. We started talking about buying a bigger house, getting a dog, maybe, eventually, kids. Then, on a random Tuesday almost a year after the dinner party, Devin got a call from the hospital. His dad, Walter, had a heart attack. Massive, sudden, critical. The family was gathering. He needed to come. We drove to the hospital in silence. I didn't know if I should go in or wait in the car. Devin squeezed my hand. Together, the waiting room was full of family. Veronica, Bryn, Felix, assorted aunts and uncles. Everyone looked exhausted, terrified. When we walked in, the room went quiet. Veronica's eyes found me immediately, filled with pure hate. But she didn't say anything. Her husband was dying. Even she wouldn't cause a scene right now. Felix updated us. Quadruple bypass surgery. Touch and go. They wouldn't know for hours if he'd survive. Devin sat down, head in his hands. I stayed standing, ready to defend us if necessary. But nobody approached. They whispered among themselves, shot glances our way, kept their distance. Hours passed. A surgeon emerged, tired but smiling. He made it through surgery. Next 48 hours are critical, but he's stable. The room exhaled collectively. Veronica burst into tears. Bryn held her. Family members hugged, relieved. Devin stood up, looking lost. He approached his mom slowly. I'm glad he's okay, he said. She looked at him like she wanted to hug him, like she wanted to pull him close and never let go. But then her eyes flicked to me, standing behind him, and her expression hardened. "He asked for you," she said to Devin. "Before the surgery, he wanted to know where you were, why his son wasn't there. I'm here now. Are you? Or are you just visiting before you disappear for another year?" "Mom, please. Your father almost died today, and you weren't here. Because of her." She pointed at me, not bothering to use my name. "She's taken you away from your family, from the people who actually love you." I felt Devin tense. This was the moment. After almost a year, nothing had changed. His father almost died, and his mother was still making me the villain. He could take the bait, fall back into old patterns, or he could hold the line. "We weren't here," Devin said carefully, "because you refused to respect basic boundaries. Because you chose being right over having a relationship with me. That's not on her. That's on you. How dare you? I love you, Mom. I love Dad. But I also love my wife, and I'm not going to keep sacrificing her to make you comfortable. If you want me in your life, the boundaries stand. All of them. Starting with an apology." Veronica's face went through several emotions. Shock, anger, hurt, calculation. Finally, she settled on cold. "Then I guess we have nothing more to discuss." She turned her back on us. Literally turned around and walked to the other side of the waiting room. The family watched, uncertain. Bryn looked like she might say something but stayed quiet. Felix gave us a sad smile. Nothing more. We left. Got in the car. Drove home. Devin cried the whole way, grieving the family that could have been. The mother who should have loved his wife. The father who almost died while they were estranged. I held his hand while he drove, not saying anything. What was there to say? At home, Devin collapsed on the couch. What if he had died? What if those were the last words between us? Him asking where I was and me not being there. "You're here now. He made it through. You can visit him when he's awake." She won't let me near him. She doesn't control the hospital. We'll figure it out. We did. The next day, Devin called the hospital, explained the situation to a social worker, got information about visiting outside family group hours. He went alone that first time, not wanting to provoke Veronica. Walter was weak, but conscious. They talked for 20 minutes before a nurse said he needed rest. Devin came home lighter. "He doesn't blame me," he said, "for the no contact." He said he didn't understand at first, but lying there facing death, he thought about his own marriage, about the compromises he's made to keep peace. And he said he was proud of me for choosing differently. "Did he know what your mom did?" "Some of it. Not all. She kept him on a need-to-know basis. But enough that he wasn't surprised when I told him the full story." Over the next 2 weeks, Devin visited his dad every day. Veronica scheduled her visits opposite his, making sure they never overlapped. Walter was discharged after 16 days, sent home with strict orders for rest and cardiac rehab. Devin went to see him at the house during a window when Veronica was at her book club. Father and son, talking without the matriarch controlling the conversation. "Your mother is hurting," Walter told him. "She feels like she lost you. She didn't lose me. She pushed me away. From her perspective, you chose a girl you've known a year over the woman who raised you. I chose my marriage over tolerating abuse." Walter nodded slowly. "I understand that more than you know. Your mother has very firm ideas about how things should be. She always has. And when reality doesn't match those ideas, she tries to force it into shape." He paused. "She means well. Does she? Or does she mean to control?" His father didn't answer that, but he didn't need to. After 40 years of marriage, he knew who his wife was. He'd just made different choices about what he could live with. "Will you come to Sunday dinner?" Walter asked. "Not every week, but sometimes. Let me see my son. If Mom can be civil, I'll talk to her." The first Sunday dinner was scheduled for 3 weeks later. Devin and I debated for hours whether to go. We role-played scenarios, planned exit strategies, agreed on signals if things got toxic. I offered to stay home, let him go alone. He refused. Together or not at all. We arrived at 6 p.m. exactly on time. Felix was already there with his girlfriend Tessa. Bryn was there with her new husband Joel. Walter answered the door, looking thin but alive. Come in, come in." The dining room table was set for 8. Veronica was in the kitchen, putting final touches on dinner. She didn't look up when we entered, didn't acknowledge our presence, just continued arranging food on platters with precise, angry movements. We sat down. Felix made nervous small talk about work. Bryn asked about our house. Joel, who'd never met me, introduced himself politely. Walter suggested we say grace. Everyone bowed their heads. Everyone except Veronica, who stared directly at me through the entire prayer, her eyes hard. Dinner was tense but not explosive. Veronica passed dishes without making eye contact with me, spoke to Devin in short sentences. "Pass the salt. Did you try the chicken?" Never addressing me directly, never using my name, but not openly attacking either. It was the coldest politeness I'd ever experienced. Halfway through the meal, Bryn cleared her throat. "So, Joel and I have news." Everyone looked up. Bryn glanced at her husband, who nodded encouragingly. "We're pregnant. 12 weeks. Everything looks healthy." The table erupted in congratulations. Walter beamed. Felix cheered. Veronica's entire face transformed, joy breaking through the ice. "Oh, sweetheart, this is wonderful. Our first grandbaby." She got up, hugged Bryn, kissed Joel's cheek. "When are you due? Do you know if it's a boy or girl?" "Oh, we have so much to plan." I watched Devin's face. He was smiling, genuinely happy for his sister. But there was something else there too, recognition, because this was what Veronica had wanted for us. The baby that would cement Devin's place in the family, the grandchild she'd been pressuring us about since month 2 of our marriage. "Congratulations," I said to Bryn. "That's really exciting." Bryn smiled at me. "Thanks. I know Mom was kind of pushy about this stuff with you guys. I just want you to know, this wasn't about that. We were ready." "Of course." The rest of dinner was easier. Veronica was distracted, already planning nurseries and baby showers. She even looked at me once without hatred, though it didn't last. By dessert, she'd remembered I existed, and the coldness returned. We left early, claiming I had work in the morning. In the car, Devin was quiet. "You okay?" I asked. "That's going to be our life if we have kids." Her, obsessing over them, trying to control how we parent, making comments about doing things her way. Maybe. Or maybe we set boundaries from day one. She doesn't get unsupervised time. She doesn't get to undermine us. And if she can't handle that, she doesn't get to be involved. She's going to be all over Bryn. You saw her face. This is what she's been waiting for. Let her focus on Bryn's baby then. Takes the pressure off us. Over the next months, we established a pattern. Sunday dinners twice a month, always with Walter present, never just Veronica. We'd arrive together, leave together, and keep conversations surface level. Veronica maintained her cold politeness. I was present, but invisible. Spoken around, but never to. It wasn't healthy, but it was sustainable. A truce, not peace. Bryn's pregnancy progressed. The family threw elaborate showers and celebrations. Veronica bought out entire stores worth of baby items. She created a Pinterest board with 847 pins. She called Bryn 3 times a day with advice. It was overwhelming, but Bryn seemed happy, or maybe just too tired to fight it. Devin and I focused on our own life. We got the dog, a rescue mutt named Betty, who loved everyone. We traveled, taking weekend trips to places Veronica had never approved of. We made decisions without asking for family input. We existed outside the family bubble, visiting occasionally, but never fully re-entering. Then one Sunday, about 4 months into our careful detente, things shifted. We arrived for dinner to find Veronica alone. No Walter, no Felix, no Bryn and Joel. Where is everyone? Devin asked. Your father is resting. He had a bad day, and the others canceled. So it's just us. She smiled, but it wasn't kind. Come, sit. Dinner is ready. Every alarm bell in my head went off. This was a setup. Devin sensed it too. Maybe we should come back when Dad's feeling better. Nonsense. I made dinner. You're here. We're going to eat like a family. We should have left, but Walter was upstairs, potentially needing his son, and Devin didn't want to abandon him, so we sat down. The 3 of us at a table set for 8. Veronica at the head, Devin and I side by side, united front. She served the food, pot roast, potatoes, vegetables, all of Devin's favorites. She made conversation about weather and traffic, safe topics, boring topics. We made it through the main course without incident. I started to relax slightly. Maybe this was just dinner. Maybe I was paranoid. Then came dessert. Veronica brought out apple pie with ice cream, Devin's favorite since childhood. She cut 3 slices, served them carefully. We ate in silence. The pie was perfect. Of course it was. Veronica was an excellent cook. That had never been the problem. So, she said, setting down her fork, I've been thinking about our situation. Mom, Devin started. Let me finish. I've been thinking and I've realized something. You're both waiting for an apology from me. Devin and I exchanged glances. Was this actually happening? But I don't know what I'm supposed to apologize for. Having opinions? Trying to help? Wanting the best for my son? She looked genuinely confused. I've given this months of thought and I truly don't understand what I did that was so terrible. You systematically insulted and belittled me for 8 months, I said. You made comments about my appearance, my worth, my ability to be a good wife. You questioned whether I could give Devin children. You told him he should have married someone else. I was being honest, perhaps too honest. But isn't honesty important in families? There's honest and there's cruel. So I'm cruel now? For speaking my mind? For not walking on eggshells around someone too sensitive to handle reality? She turned to Devin. Is this what you want? A wife who can't take any criticism? Who records private conversations and weaponizes them? Who keeps you away from your family? Don't, Devin said. Don't twist this around. I'm not twisting anything. I'm asking legitimate questions. Because from where I sit, I lost my son over some hurt feeling, over words taken out of context. And I'm supposed to apologize for that? She laughed, bitter. I won't. I can't apologize for something I don't believe was wrong. Then we're done here, I said, standing up. Wait. Veronica's voice changed, softer. Please, sit. I'm not trying to fight. I'm trying to understand. Help me understand what you need from me. Against my better judgment, I sat back down. I need you to acknowledge that your words hurt me, that they were designed to make me feel small and inadequate, that you weaponized your relationship with Devin to make me doubt myself. I need you to see that what you did was abuse. But that's not how I see it at all. I was trying to help you improve, to be better, for Devin's sake. I didn't need to improve. I needed to be accepted. But you have to admit, you could have tried harder. With the cooking, the housekeeping, the way you present yourself. If you just listen to my suggestions instead of getting defensive, this is exactly the problem, Devin interrupted. You think you're being helpful, but you're being controlling. You think you're offering suggestions, but you're issuing commands. And when someone doesn't comply, you tear them down until they either submit or leave. Veronica's face tightened. I raised you. I know what's best for you. I'm 31 years old. I don't need you to know what's best for me anymore. Clearly you do, given the choices you're making. We're leaving, I said again, standing. This time Devin stood with me. If you walk out that door, you're choosing her over me. Again, Veronica's voice rose. You're saying that this outsider, this girl you barely know, matters more than your own mother. After everything I've done for you. After I gave up my career to raise you. After I sacrificed everything. You didn't sacrifice everything for me, Devin said quietly. You sacrificed everything to control me, and I'm done letting you. We walked out. Veronica followed us to the front door, her voice escalating. You're ungrateful, both of you. After all I've done, this is how you repay me? You'll regret this. You'll come crawling back when you realize what you've lost. We drove away with her still shouting. In the car, Devin was shaking. I really thought she might apologize, that maybe this year had changed her. People like your mom don't change. They just find new ways to justify their behavior. What now? Now we go back to no contact, for real this time. No Sunday dinners, no compromise. She showed us exactly who she is. What about my dad? We'll find a way to see him that doesn't involve her. But Devin, you have to accept that she's never going to give you the mother you deserve. You can keep waiting for her to change, or you can grieve the mother you wish you had and move forward. That night, Devin wrote an email to his father explaining what happened. Walter called the next day, apologetic but not surprised. They arranged to meet for lunch once a week, just the two of them. Father-son time without Veronica's interference. It wasn't perfect, but it was something. Months passed. Bryn had her baby, a girl named Eleanor. The family threw a massive celebration we weren't invited to. Felix sent us photos. The baby was beautiful. Bryn looked exhausted and happy. Veronica looked triumphant, holding her first grandchild like a prize. Do you think she'll try to turn Eleanor against us? I asked Devin. Probably. Tell her stories about the terrible aunt and uncle who abandoned the family. But Bryn's smart, and Felix will run interference. Eleanor will make her own choices when she's old enough. We sent a gift. A thoughtful one. A first edition children's book collection we knew Bryn would love. She texted a thank you. Short, polite, nothing more. The gap between Devin and his sister had widened. Not from animosity, but from the exhaustion of navigating family politics. It was easier for Bryn to focus on her baby and keep peace with Veronica than to maintain a relationship with us. 2 years after the dinner party disaster, we bought a new house. Bigger, in a different neighborhood, 40 minutes from the family. We didn't tell anyone we were moving until it was done. Fresh start, clean slate. We hosted a housewarming party and invited friends we'd made since the fallout. People who didn't know the whole story, who just knew us as Devin and his wife, not as the couple who destroyed a family. Felix came to the party. So did Walter, defying Veronica's orders to stay away. She's my son, he told us. And I've missed too much already. He was healthier now, taking his medications, going to cardiac rehab religiously. The heart attack had scared him into changes. Not enough to leave Veronica, but enough to reclaim some independence. Your mother doesn't know I'm here, he admitted. She thinks I'm at my book club. You're in a book club? Devin asked, surprised. Started it 6 months ago. Needed something that was mine, something she couldn't control or criticize or make about her. He looked around our new house. This is nice. You've built something good here. That night, after everyone left, Devin and I sat in our empty living room surrounded by boxes. Are we ever going to have kids? He asked. Do you want kids? I don't know. I love the idea of being a dad, but I'm terrified of repeating patterns, of becoming my mother, of screwing up a kid the way she screwed me up. You're not her. You've done the work to recognize the patterns. You've broken the cycle. Have I, though? Or am I just avoiding it by not having kids? There's no rule that says we have to have children. We can be happy and fulfilled just the two of us. Or we can foster. Or adopt older kids who need someone. Or we can have biological children and do our best to raise them better. All options are valid. What do you want? I thought about it. Really thought. I want us. Whatever form that takes. If kids are part of that, great. If not, also great. But I don't want to have children to prove something to your mother. Or to complete some checklist of acceptable life choices. Deal. 3 years after the dinner party, I ran into Veronica at the grocery store. Completely by accident. Neither of us expecting it. We made eye contact across the produce section. For a moment, neither of us moved. Then she walked toward me, her cart full of baby items. Formula, diapers, tiny clothes. Eleanor? I asked, even though I knew Bryn was still breastfeeding. Bryn's pregnant again. Due in October. Another girl. She said it like an accomplishment. Her accomplishment? Congratulations to her. She's exhausted. 2 under 2. I'm helping as much as I can. A pause. She could use family support. I'm sure she has plenty. Not from Devin. He hasn't met Eleanor, his own niece. Don't you think that's sad? I think it's sad that you've created an environment where he doesn't feel welcome. I didn't create anything. He made his choice. You both did. She looked at my cart, notably free of baby items. No children yet? That's personal. After 3 years of marriage? Most people start wondering, especially your age. Clock's still ticking. And there it was. 3 years later, standing in the produce section, and she couldn't help herself. The little dig. The reminder that I wasn't meeting expectations. I felt the old anger rise, but then something else. Pity. You know what's sad, Veronica? Not that Devin doesn't see Eleanor, but that you're going to repeat the same patterns with those little girls that you did with your own children. You're going to control and criticize and make them feel like they're never good enough. And one day, they're going to be old enough to recognize it, to push back, and you'll lose them too. Just like you lost Devin. Her face went pale, then red. How dare! Have a nice day. I walked away, left her standing there among the apples and oranges, probably already composing a text to the family about how I'd attacked her unprovoked. I didn't care. That chapter of my life was closed. At home, I told Devin about the encounter. Did you really say that to her? Every word. He laughed. Actually laughed. The first time he'd laughed about anything regarding his mother in years. I wish I'd seen her face. It was pretty spectacular. Think she'll tell everyone? Absolutely. But we're used to being the villains. 4 years after the dinner party, Walter died. Another heart attack. Massive and quick. He was gone before the ambulance arrived. Veronica called Devin herself, her voice broken. Your father's dead. You need to come home. We went to the funeral. Of course we went. Whatever happened between us and Veronica, Walter had tried. He'd maintained a relationship with Devin, met us for lunch monthly, celebrated our victories quietly. He deserved to be honored. The funeral home was packed. Walter had been well-liked, a genuinely good man who'd spent his life trapped in a difficult marriage. The family was there in full force. Bryn, now pregnant with her 3rd child at 30, looking exhausted. Felix with Tessa, engaged now. Assorted relatives we hadn't seen in 4 years. And Veronica, dressed in black, aged by grief, flanked by her daughters. When Devin approached to pay his respects, she collapsed against him, sobbing. My boy, you're here. He held her while she cried, let her grieve, didn't bring up any of the history or hurt. This moment wasn't about that. It was about a woman who'd lost her husband of 42 years, a son who'd lost his father. The rest could wait. At the service, Bryn spoke about growing up with a dad who taught her to ride a bike. Felix talked about fishing trips and terrible dad jokes. Devin told a story about Walter teaching him to change a tire, a memory from before everything got complicated. People laughed and cried. It was a good service. At the reception, family members approached us cautiously. An aunt who hadn't spoken to us in years hugged me, said she was sorry for everything. A cousin admitted he'd always thought we were treated unfairly. Bryn pulled Devin aside, showed him photos of Eleanor and her younger sister Riley. They should know their uncle, she said quietly. That's up to you, Devin told her. I know, and I'm sorry it took Dad dying for me to realize how much time we've wasted. She wiped her eyes. Mom's been saying for years that you abandoned us. But I've been thinking, we abandoned you too. We chose the easy path. You had a baby, 2 babies. You were building your own life. That's not an excuse. I could have tried harder. I should have tried harder. After the reception, after most people had left, Veronica approached us. She looked smaller somehow. Grief had carved her down to something more human. "Thank you for coming," she said. "It meant everything to have all my children here." "Of course," Devin said. "Your father loved you very much. Even when you were apart, he talked about you all the time." She paused. "He wanted us to reconcile before he died. He tried so hard to make that happen." "I know, but we never did, and now it's too late for him to see it." "Mom, I'm not apologizing. I can't apologize for being who I am, but I am saying that life is short, and family is family, and maybe we could try again." I looked at Devin. This was his choice, his mother, his decision. "We can try," he said carefully. "But the boundaries still stand. All of them. I understand." She didn't, not really, but she was trying in her way. And maybe that was enough, or maybe it wasn't. Time would tell. 5 years after the dinner party, Bryn invited us to Eleanor's 5th birthday party, a big backyard celebration with bounce houses and ponies. All of the family would be there, including Veronica. We debated going, but Eleanor was 5 now, old enough to remember, and she shouldn't be punished for adult problems. We showed up with a carefully chosen gift, a robot building kit for the girl who apparently loved science. Eleanor took one look at us, decided we were strangers, and hid behind Bryn. But Riley, 3 years old and fearless, walked right up to Devin and asked if he was her uncle. "I am," he said. "Why haven't I met you before?" "That's a long story." "I like stories." Devin smiled. "Maybe when you're older." Veronica watched from across the yard, didn't approach, didn't interfere, just watched her son interact with grandchildren he barely knew. It must have hurt. Good. As the party wound down, Bryn pulled us aside. "I want you to be more involved, if you're willing. The girls should know you." "What about your mom?" "I'll handle mom. You're my brother. They're your nieces. That's what matters." So we started seeing Bryn's family once a month, sometimes at her house, sometimes at ours, always without Veronica. Eleanor warmed up to us slowly, decided I was okay when I helped her build a robot. Riley attached herself to Devin immediately, the way small children do. Bryn's baby, a son named Patrick, was too young to care about family politics. It wasn't the family Devin had grown up with, but it was something, a new family, built on choice rather than obligation, with boundaries and respect and honesty. It wasn't perfect, but it was ours. 6 years after the dinner party, we decided to try for a baby, not because we had to, not because anyone expected it, but because we wanted to. After years of building our life, our marriage, our sense of self separate from Veronica's influence, we felt ready, or as ready as anyone ever is. It took 8 months of trying before I got pregnant. We told no one at first, superstitious after everything we'd been through. But at 12 weeks, we shared the news. Felix was thrilled. Bryn cried happy tears. Walter would have been over the moon. We told Veronica last. At Sunday dinner, the monthly obligation we'd resumed after Walter's death. Just the 3 of us, strained and polite. She was cooking pot roast again, still trying to win Devin back through his stomach. "We have news," Devin said over dessert. Veronica looked up, hopeful. "We're pregnant. 16 weeks. It's a boy." Her face transformed, pure joy, unguarded and real. For a moment, she was just a grandmother learning about a new grandchild. But then she recovered. The mask slipped back. "Well," she said, "it's about time." "Mom, what?" "I'm just saying. You've been married 6 years. I was starting to wonder if something was wrong, and there it was. Even in a moment of happiness, she couldn't help herself. The small dig, the reminder that we'd failed to meet her timeline. "Nothing's wrong," I said. "We waited until we were ready." "Of course. I'm sure you had your reasons." She smiled, but it was tight. "I assume I'll be involved? With my grandson? With boundaries," Devin said. "Always boundaries with you two. Can't a grandmother be excited?" "Be excited, but understand that this is our child. We make the decisions. I raised 3 children. I think I know a thing or two about babies. And we appreciate your experience. But this isn't negotiable. You follow our rules, or you don't get access." Her expression hardened. "You'd really keep me from my own grandchild? If you can't respect us?" "Yes." We left shortly after. In the car, I put my hand on my belly, feeling the slight swell. This kid's going to have such a complicated family. Most kids do. At least ours will have parents who are on the same page, who protect him, who don't use him as a weapon. Think your mom will ever change? No. But I've stopped expecting her to. That's different. Our son was born on a Tuesday in March, weighing 7 pounds 3 ounces. We named him Theodore Walter, after Devin's father. Theo for short. He had Devin's eyes and my nose and an impressive set of lungs. The hospital room filled with visitors. Felix brought balloons. Bryn brought her kids to meet their cousin. Friends from work stopped by. And after everyone else left, after we'd established he was ours first, we called Veronica. She arrived in 15 minutes. Must have been waiting. She brought an expensive stuffed animal and a judgmental expression. "He's so small." "Most babies are. You're breastfeeding, I hope. Formula is poison. We're combination feeding. It's working for us." "In my day, this isn't your day," Devin said. "This is ours. You can be supportive, or you can leave." She swallowed whatever she was going to say, took Theo carefully, held him with practiced hands, and for a moment she looked almost soft. "He looks like you did, when you were born. Same little face. Yeah? You were perfect too. My perfect baby boy." She kissed Theo's forehead. "I'm going to spoil you, rotten little one. Within our rules," I reminded her. Yes, within your rules." But her eyes said something different. She was already planning how to work around us. The first months were hard. Not just normal new baby hard, but navigating Veronica hard. She showed up unannounced. She criticized how we swaddled. She questioned our pediatrician's advice. She bought things we'd specifically said we didn't want. Every boundary was tested. Finally, after she showed up at midnight, just to check on the baby, Devin laid down the law. No more unannounced visits. You call first. If we say no, you respect it. And you stop questioning every decision we make. This is our baby, not yours. I'm just trying to help. By undermining us? By making us feel incompetent? That's not help. That's control. Devin, honey, no. Dad's gone. You don't get to make me feel guilty anymore. Either you respect our boundaries or you don't see Theo. Your choice. She chose respect. Barely. She'd call before visiting, though she'd complain about needing an appointment to see her own grandson. She'd bite her tongue when she disagreed with our choices, though we'd see it in her face. She brought gifts we'd approved, though she'd mention what she really wanted to buy if only we were reasonable. But she showed up. That was something. Theo was 3 months old, sitting in his bouncy seat, when Veronica looked at me and said, "You're doing a good job with him." I almost dropped the bottle I was washing. "What? With Theo? You're a good mother. Better than I expected." It wasn't quite an apology for the years of fertility comments, but it was close. An acknowledgement that her judgment had been wrong, that I was enough. "Thank you," I said carefully. "Don't let it go to your head." But she almost smiled. Theo turned 1. We threw a party at our house, invited everyone, family, friends, our weird mixed collection of people who'd stood by us. Veronica showed up with an enormous present and moderately good behavior. She only made 3 passive-aggressive comments the entire day. Progress. Eleanor and Riley ran around playing with Theo, teaching him how to clap. Bryn was pregnant again, her 4th. Felix and Tessa had gotten married quietly, just family. The family was growing, evolving, becoming something new. Devin's cousin pulled me aside at one point. "I owe you an apology." "For what?" "The dinner party. I signed that list Mom showed you, or I let her use my name. I was scared of going against her, but I've seen over the years how she treats you, how she twists things, and I'm sorry I was part of that. Thank you for saying that. For what it's worth, most of us know now that you were right, that she was out of line, but saying it out loud means going against her, and that's hard. I know." By the time Theo was 2, we'd settled into an uneasy peace. Veronica saw her grandson regularly, but understood she wasn't in charge. Devin had reconstructed his relationship with his family, but on his terms. I was acknowledged, if not always liked. It wasn't the Hallmark movie ending, but it was real. One day, I was cleaning out closets when I found an old phone, my backup from years ago, the one I'd used to record Veronica. I charged it out of curiosity, scrolled through the files. 89 recordings, transcripts, the spreadsheet I'd made in desperation. Devin found me sitting on the floor, holding the phone. "What's that?" "Evidence? From 6 years ago? When I was documenting everything." He sat down next to me. "Do you still listen to them?" "Haven't in years. Don't need to. I know what happened." "What are you going to do with it?" I looked at the phone. This thing that had saved my marriage and destroyed a family and rebuilt it different. "Delete it." "Really? I don't need proof anymore. She either respects me or she doesn't. Either way, I know my worth. That's what matters." I pressed delete. Watched the files disappear one by one. 89 recordings vanishing into digital nothing. It felt like release. "No regrets?" Devin asked. "About recording her? No. About playing them at dinner? Sometimes, but only because of how hard the aftermath was. Not because I was wrong. You weren't wrong. You were surviving." We sat there in comfortable silence. Below us, we could hear Theo singing to himself in his room. Outside, neighbors were mowing lawns. Normal Saturday sounds. Normal life. "Do you think she'll ever really apologize?" I asked. "No, but I think she knows she messed up. You can see it sometimes, when she looks at Theo and realizes how easily she could have missed this. How close she came to losing me completely. It's not the same as saying the words, but it's something. Is it enough? For me, yeah. Because I've stopped waiting for her to be different. I see who she is. And I've decided how much of her I can handle. That's all any of us can do with difficult family." Theo called for us. Nap time was over. We got up, went to our son, did the normal parent things. Made snacks, changed diapers, read books, built a life that was ours, not dictated by anyone else's expectations. 7 years after the dinner party, Bryn called. "I need to talk to you about something. Can you come over?" We went, bringing Theo. Bryn's house was chaos. 4 kids under 6, toys everywhere, laundry mountains in every room. She looked exhausted, but determined. "I'm going back to work," she announced. "Part-time at first, but work. And Mom is losing her mind." "What does she say?" "That I'm abandoning my children, that I'm being selfish, that a mother's place is in the home." Bryn laughed bitterly. "The same thing she said about you, about your career. I never understood why you pushed back so hard, but now I do. What do you need from us? Permission? Validation? I don't know. Just someone to tell me I'm not being a terrible mother by wanting something for myself." "You're not a terrible mother," I said. "You're a person, with needs and wants beyond your kids. That doesn't make you selfish. It makes you human." That's what Joel says. But Mom's voice is so loud in my head, telling me I'm doing it wrong, that I'm failing. "Welcome to the club," Devin said. "She makes everyone feel like that. It's her superpower." "How did you deal with it?" "Badly at first. Then with recordings. Then with distance. Now with boundaries. It's a process." Bryn nodded slowly. "I think I need distance. Not permanent, but some. Enough to figure out who I am, separate from who she wants me to be. We'll support you however you need." She hugged us both. "Thank you. And I'm sorry for not supporting you sooner, for choosing the easier path. You were trying to survive. We all were." Over the next year, Bryn pulled back from Veronica, set limits on visits, stopped asking for advice, went back to work as a part-time occupational therapist. Veronica tried the same tactics she'd used on us. Guilt, manipulation, recruiting family members to pressure Bryn. It worked less well this time. Bryn had seen the playbook. Felix, watching this, started setting his own boundaries. Tessa was pregnant with their first, and he didn't want his kids raised with Veronica's constant criticism. The family was slowly, painfully, learning to exist separately from the matriarch's control. At Sunday dinners, now expanded to include multiple families, Veronica was outnumbered. She'd make a critical comment and 3 people would shut it down. She'd try to dictate something, and everyone would politely ignore her. She was losing power, not through exile, but through irrelevance. Her children were adults making choices she couldn't control. Sometimes I'd catch her looking around the table, confusion and hurt on her face. This wasn't the family she'd built. These weren't the obedient children she'd raised. She'd lost something and couldn't quite figure out what. But we were all happier, healthier. Devin hadn't had a stress nightmare in 2 years. Bryn was thriving at work. Felix was planning a life with Tessa that included exactly the amount of family involvement they chose. Even Veronica's grandkids, the ones old enough to have personalities, We're growing up with more freedom than any of us had. Theo turned 3. We threw him a superhero party. He wore a cape and insisted everyone call him Super Theo. Veronica brought him a truck, age-appropriate and non-judgmental. She watched him play with other kids and said, "He's very confident. Must get that from Devin." "From both of us," I corrected. "Yes, I suppose he does." She paused. "You've done well with him, both of you. He's a happy child." It was the closest she'd ever come to admitting I was a good parent, that we together were doing something right. "Thank you. Don't let it go to your head." "I know." We almost smiled at each other. Almost. 8 years after the dinner party, I was cleaning out the attic when I found a box of wedding photos. Us, young and hopeful, surrounded by family. Veronica in every picture, smiling, playing the perfect mother-in-law. Devin's dad looking proud. Everyone together, everyone happy, before it all fell apart. I brought the box downstairs. Devin and I looked through them together, showing Theo pictures from before he existed. "That's Grandma Veronica," Devin told him, pointing. "And that's Grandpa Walter, who died before you were born." "Was he nice?" Theo asked. "Very nice. He would have loved you." "Is Grandma Veronica nice?" Devin and I looked at each other. "How do you explain complicated family to a 3-year-old? "She tries to be," Devin said finally. "She doesn't always succeed, but she's family, and we love her anyway." Good enough answer. Theo lost interest, went back to his trucks. But I thought about those words. She tries to be. Did she? Or was she just trying to maintain access? I didn't know. Maybe it didn't matter. That night, after Theo was asleep, Devin and I talked about the last 8 years. Everything we'd survived. "Do you regret any of it?" he asked. "Recording her? No. Playing the recordings at dinner? Sometimes. But I'd do it again. Because without that catalyst, nothing changes. We'd still be stuck in the same pattern. Me suffering silently while you defended her. I'm sorry I made you suffer that long. You didn't know better. You'd been trained your whole life to accept her behavior as normal. It took something dramatic to break through that programming. Still, I should have believed you sooner. We're here now. That's what matters." We looked out at our backyard, the life we'd built, the swing set Devin installed, the garden I planted, Theo's toys scattered everywhere. This was worth fighting for, worth the pain of those early years. 9 years after the dinner party, Veronica had a health scare. A fall, a broken hip, complications from surgery. She was in the hospital for 2 weeks, vulnerable in a way we'd never seen. Devin visited every day. So did Bryn and Felix. We rallied around her because that's what family does, even difficult family. During one visit, when it was just Veronica and me in the room, she said something unexpected. "I was wrong about you." "What?" "When Devin first brought you home, I thought you weren't good enough. Too young, too inexperienced, not from the right background. I thought you'd hold him back." She shifted in the hospital bed, wincing. "But you haven't. You've made him better, stronger, more sure of himself. And I resent you for it. Because it means you didn't do that? Because it means I held him back. All those years of trying to control him, I was just keeping him small. Easier to manage." She looked at me directly. "I'm not apologizing. I still think I was doing what I thought was best. But I was wrong. It wasn't the apology I'd wanted 8 years ago, but it was honest. Maybe that was better. Thank you for saying that. Don't expect me to repeat it. This is probably the medication talking. I'll take what I can get." She almost smiled. Veronica recovered, moved into a retirement community at Bryn's insistence, somewhere with medical staff on site. She hated it, complained constantly, but secretly seemed relieved to have help. Her house was sold, the mansion where so many family dramas had played out. The era of Veronica's complete control was officially over. 10 years after the dinner party, we threw an anniversary party. A decade of marriage, against all odds. We invited everyone, family included. Veronica showed up with a wrapped present and minimal attitude. She'd mellowed slightly in her old age, or maybe just gotten tired of fighting. During the party, she pulled Devin aside. I watched from across the room as they talked. She was gesturing, explaining something. He was listening, nodding. When they came back, Devin had tears in his eyes. "What was that about?" I asked later. She told me she was proud of me, that I'd built a good life, that she'd failed in a lot of ways as a mother, but I'd succeeded despite her. He wiped his eyes. I didn't think I'd ever hear that from her. Did she apologize? Not exactly, but close enough. That night, after everyone left, we sat in our backyard under the stars. 10 years. 10 years of building and breaking and rebuilding, of therapy and boundaries and hard conversations, of choosing each other every single day. Was it worth it? Devin asked. All of this. The pain, the family drama, the years of conflict. I looked at our house where our son was sleeping peacefully, thought about the life we'd created, imperfect but ours. Yeah, it was worth it. I love you. I love you too. We sat there in comfortable silence. Above us, stars wheeled through the sky. Below us, the earth was solid and sure. And between us, a decade of choosing love over obligation, truth over peace, ourselves over expectations. The recordings were long gone, but the lessons remain. Stand up for yourself. Document abuse when necessary. Choose partners who choose you back. Set boundaries even when it's hard. Family is important, but not at the cost of your sanity. Somewhere across town, Veronica was probably in her retirement apartment, regretting or not regretting the past. We'd never know which. But it didn't matter anymore. We'd built something she couldn't tear down. A marriage based on mutual respect. A family defined by choice. A life that was wholly, completely, finally ours. And that was enough.